Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are back with a brand new review of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 2, Episode 13. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. If you are back for a second or third time, then welcome back. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you get anything out of the content. Now, child, let's get into it if we gonna get into it. When the episode first opens up, the ladies are back in Utah because, you know, they were over in Vail acting a fool. So they get back to Utah and Lisa is in there downloading John on the foolishness that happened. So she's telling him, you know, I thought Whitney was a pot stirrer, but she's a whisk. She's whiskney. When I tell y'all I cackled at that, Lisa get on my nervous system. Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, she does. But I love a good name change, honey. I love a conjoining name. Child, that was a fool. That was a good one, Lisa. Moving forward, Heather is at her house telling her daughter about the Mary drama also. Over at the Cosby compound, Mary is telling her grandfather husband that they were all accusing her and saying she couldn't be trusted. Here he go. Can't be trusted to do what? She's like, I don't know. They lumped me in there with Jean and I was wondering if it was a brown girl thing. No, ma'am, it's a crook thing. They think you're just as crooked as Jen. Like something ain't right, honey. Something just ain't right. Moving forward. So Heather is telling her daughter, you know, Mary was going off on her and Whitney. And she's like, I think she doesn't want to be Whitney's friend anymore. You think? I have never this season seen Mary and Whitney in a scene getting along. Honey, it's been a fool every time they get together. So they pan over to Whiskey and she's telling her husband about the situation as well, wearing all iris bow. Whiskey, if you're going to be rebranding to Whitney Rose, where is the Whitney Rose merch? Girl, you got a platform. People are watching you. And you got iris bow on from head to toe. She's like, I was telling Mary, look, you're a woman of God. But what really ticked me off is that everyone was talking about it. So then Lisa drops this huge bomb that she has this friend named Cameron that left Mary's church. But in front of Mary, it was crickets. She's like, and poor Meredith is just caught in the middle. Meanwhile, with Meredith and her level of unbotheredness, honey, she walking her dog. I said, Meredith, you couldn't have shot with nobody. Everybody is talking about the Mary drama, honey. Meredith said, I'm going to be 100% loyal to Mary. Baby, Meredith is standing 10 toes down. The best thing that Mary did was being there for Meredith's son. Because now, honey, Meredith will not turn her back on Mary, no matter what the evidence proves, child. She was over there rubbing her dog's stomach. Talking about, you rubbing your tummy, okay. It's like Meredith is in her own world sometimes. Like, she gives me heavily sedated. Like, Meredith be like, I'm so unbothered. If I don't like you, I don't like you. I said what I said, and I'm not changing it. As a matter of fact, I'm disengaging. Child, this is a fool. Moving forward. Jenny is in her car, and she's saying, look, I have mixed feelings since finding out about the PI that Meredith hired. She's like, she was talking to her husband on the phone, and she goes, if you get a text message, do you hire a PI or do you file a report? Like, who does that? A side note, Jenny, honey, your makeup is flawless during this car ride. I was looking at that makeup. I said, come on, natural glam. Baby, that was everything to me. And I love a good brow. Girl, you look good. That's just a side note. Moving forward. So as Lisa is finishing up the story to John, he was like, I'm going to go grab me something to drink really quick. She was like, no, sit down. You're not going anywhere. Lisa, is this how you speak to your husband? John, is this how you get spoken to? Oh, no, ma'am, honey. I didn't like that at all. But, honey, maybe that's just me. Okay, I felt like it was a little bit much. Like, sit down. He's not one of your good girlfriends, honey. Like, he's your husband. Put some respect on his name. My goodness. So, anywho, he sits back down and she is telling him that she just got a text from Jen's new number asking to meet up. Girl, the feds got that number too, honey. Changing it means nothing. I know they probably confiscated your phone, so now you got you one of them flip phones, but they still gonna confiscate that as well. Moving forward. In the next scene, Heather gets a call and she answers. Hello? Hey girl. How are the kids? Who's this? This is Jen. I'm calling for my new number. You want to meet for lunch at the steakhouse? Meet me in about an hour, babe. Oh, of course, honey, because y'all know Heather going to do anything that Jen tells her to do. Listen, Jen would have had to text me because I do not answer unknown numbers. I barely answer numbers I know. And every time I answer an unknown number, it's talking about a factory warranty that I ain't had for a 1992 car that I never owned. I'm like, please stop calling me. Like, I don't know nothing about this factory warranty. No, I don't want new tires. No, I'm not giving you my social security number. No, I don't care if I'm approved for $1 million. Please leave me alone, child. I do not have time. But anywho, y'all know Heather hurry up and answer that phone, child, because she love her some Jen. She's like, hey, it's Jen. How are your daughters? Girl, do not try and make small talk after being almost arrested in front of the beauty lab. Baby, Homeland Security was looking for you. Girl, she's like, no, how are you? They're fine. She's like, I've been better. I wanted to see you. Well, honey, we know Heather going, okay? She's like, I want to meet for lunch in like an hour at this steakhouse. Heather's like, oh, of course, I love you. Child, Heather says she gonna stand 10 toes down for Jen. Heather, it's giving, I need a friend. I'm desperate for a friend. Pick me. Moving forward. Meanwhile, the one Jen says she would go to jail for, which is Lisa, is saying she feels like she doesn't know Jen. She's like, her legal problems aren't my business. Well, honey, I can't tell. You called every lawyer in Utah. Now it's not your business. Okay, girl. She's like, I just feel like the friendship is one-sided. She said, I hadn't heard from Jen since the night that their kids had a party, and I didn't hear from her since like 2:30 a.m., like being very angry with me. Well, Meredith tried to warn you, okay? You see how Jen gets? She flips real quick. You are the one that wanted Jen as a friend, so this is what you get. Moving forward. She's like, I wouldn't turn my back on her, but I'll get back to her when I'm ready. I'm just not ready right now. I just have to think about it. Lisa, please don't start that fake crying, honey. I just really don't feel like hearing it. Lisa just doesn't want to associate with Jen anymore because it's mighty convenient. You want to stand up for yourself now. Man, you ain't fooling me. In the next scene, Jen and her red fur, they go to meet Heather. Honey, she trying to play on our sympathy with a fresh face, very subdued makeup, a little light mute pink lip. Honey, not giving much. It's giving a little zhuzh, but it's giving, I'm innocent. That's what the makeup is giving. Honey, and I'm watching you. So they go and meet up. They sit down. It's awkward. She's like, you want to order food? Yeah, let's get some food going, honey. Maybe get something in the system because Heather going to eat if she don't do nothing else, child. She going to sit down, have herself a cocktail, and she going to have herself some food. I know that's right, child. I'm right there with you, Heather. So Jen in her confessional, she was like, I asked God to really show me my real friends. And, this is what happened. Well, did you talk to him about you allegedly scamming the elderly and the most vulnerable? Did you talk to him about that as well? Oh, no? Oh, okay. Child, they really kill me when they're like, yeah, I see who's really with me. Lady, nobody wants to be tied to criminal behavior and activities. She said, Heather was the only one that picked up the phone. Of course, Heather was the only one that picked up the phone. I don't know what kind of spell you have over Heather. I'm not quite sure. But then again, Heather might be smarter than I think she is. Honey, she's trying to get the tea. So, I got to go face to face if I want to hear what's happening. Okay, Heather, okay, I might be picking up what you're putting down. Child, let's get into it. So then Jen thanked Heather for picking up. And she's like, I really needed a friend. So Heather said, when I got divorced, all I wanted was for someone to show up for me, hold my hand and not ask too many questions. And I want to be that for Jen. Heather, she was indicted in a federal case. She was picked up by Homeland Security. One has nothing to do with the other. They're not the same thing. You get a divorce because you can't stand your husband, my honey, and he is telling you what to do and you don't want to do it. That's totally different. And I think that's nice that you want to stand by Jen and whatnot, but you turned your back on your own sister. But girl, go on, set yourself off, child. Moving forward. So Jen is telling this BS story. So then she says, a white minivan and a black SUV, they pull up, right? This is after I got the call, and I thought it was like one of Sharif's GAs, but it wasn't. So, I get ready to go, and then I see this white minivan and a black SUV, and they pull up, and I thought I was being kidnapped. So then they told me, look, you're being arrested. We're here to arrest you. She said, then they take me to this building, and they handcuff me to a chair in a break room. She's like, I just kept saying, where am I going? Like, what is happening? So Heather was like, yeah, you need an attorney. Here go, Jen. No, I didn't think I needed an attorney. I didn't do anything. Oh my gosh. If somebody arrests me in a black SUV, takes me to a location and says I'm arrested, I think I'm going to need a lawyer. Like, Lisa thought she needed a lawyer and she was just riding the veil. Like, so you think you in the back of this car and they took you to a place and handcuffed you to a chair and you don't need an attorney? Okay, girl. So Heather said, yeah. The way I hollered when Heather looked at her. Heather got those squinty Sutton eyes. Y'all remember when Sutton started looking Erica upside her head because she knew Erica Jane was lying, allegedly? Baby, she was looking just like Sutton. I said, child, this is a fool. She ain't all the way buying it, okay, Heather? All right now, because I was getting kind of worried. I'm like, girl, please don't drink the Kool-Aid. But she looking like, now, Jen, you know you a lie. Moving forward. So then she tells Heather about how the feds held Omar at gunpoint. She's like, they barged into the house. There's a red laser on my nephew's chest. So they open the door and then they pull out AR-15s on them. And then they put them in handcuffs and they pulled them outside. Okay, bravo. We really didn't need to see the reenactment. Okay. It was traumatizing enough the first time. And Jen, okay, because it's like you're almost trying to deflect and create this whole thing outside of you taking responsibility and accountability for your actions. She said, and then they pulled guns out on Omar. And I know they were so afraid. I know they had to be so afraid. And I'm trying to figure out what kind of crime warrants lasers and guns? Like, Jen, what are the charges? Like, what are your true charges? They pulled up on them like Jen was Griselda Blanco. I'm like, what is happening here? Is it a drug bust or is it an actual... Like, are you trying to find Jen? I was just so confused by that. And I don't think we need to see it. Like, we saw it once. We know Jen lying, honey. That's all she do. Moving forward. She said, we tell the boys all the time you're black in a predominantly white community. You know, what if Omar made a wrong move and they shot him? No tears. Absolutely not a tear fell. Yes, Jen, those decisions you're making could cost your son his life. Okay? Is it worth it? These cops don't care who you are. Things could have gone totally left, all because you want to play on people's phones. And Jen, you are full of it. Maybe I need to add that. That's just a side note. So Heather said, you know, to put her 15-year-old in handcuffs with a laser, that just seems unnecessary. Like, I'm infuriated by it. Yes, and she knew that you would be infuriated by it. That's why she made sure to tell you that story so that you could stop all further questioning. Okay, Jen ain't stupid. She sat there and gave you the rundown so that you could say, you know what? She's been through enough. Her kids have been through enough. I'm not going to ask any more questions. This is crazy. Honey, she knows exactly what to do. So then Jen goes, you know, like, it's unfair what the government can do with no evidence. Jen, if the feds and Homeland Security come a-knocking and they arrested you, they have evidence, my dear. There's evidence, lady. Moving forward. So Heather asked about Stu Chains, and Jen said, you know, I don't know what they did to him. I don't know what they did to his family. I don't know if they went in with AR-15s like they did mine. I'm not sure. She said, and then when I saw Stuart in the break room, I asked him, like, what the heck is going on? And then he mouthed to me, I'm sorry. Girl, not you trying to throw Stuart under the bus real quick. Honey, and let it be known I ain't had nothing to do with this. And Stuart is apologizing to me because he know I didn't have nothing to do with this. Girl. Heather said, so what is he? Like, is he your business partner? Is he your assistant? Jim was like, no, he's not my business partner. We don't partner. So then they show her engaging with Stuart, talking about him making her some money. She's like, he was my assistant. He has his own businesses that he's running. I mean, it has nothing to do with me. Are you sure? Because, honey, that was your right-hand man. So he went from your assistant to your friend to nothing at all. And I'm trying to figure out, if Stuart had his own businesses, why would he be an assistant to you and he needs an assistant? Girl, this ain't making absolutely no sense, honey. And you talking to the right one, because Heather just sitting up there eating it up just like she eating that wedge salad that look good on that plate. Child, this is a mess. Moving forward. Heather says, so do you think he knows? She's like, I don't think so. But then again, I mean, I feel like, am I being naive? Heather was like, you know, Stuart, in her confessional, Stuart was her number one. And now she's like trying to distance herself. And I really don't know why. I do. She thinks this will disassociate her from this crime. And it's not. Girl, moving forward. So then Jen drops it, honey, because she wants no further questions. So she's like, yeah, so what happened in Vail? So Heather reveals that they were reading all the articles. I like that Heather kept it real, honey. She let her know straight up, just not like they did Erica Jane, honey, because, you know, they didn't want to let Erica Jane know up front that they were reading all the articles and knowing all the things. They let Sutton take the fall. But Heather was like, we were reading all the articles, okay? We were trying to figure out what was all doing. And then Lisa called all of her attorneys. Baby, Heather telling it all. She was like, she called to see how it affected her. And now she wants to distance herself from you. Honey, but can you blame her though? So then Jen said, I'm questioning if we were ever really friends. I don't know if she ever was really being real with me. Honey, I'm questioning if you and Stora were ever really friends, the way you just threw him under the bus. I'm getting deja vu in this whole scene. It's giving very much Real Housewives of Beverly Hills last season. That's what it's giving. So Jen is pissed because she feels like everything she's ever said to her as far as Lisa is concerned is total BS. Heather also let it be known that Meredith is done with her. Okay, and there's that. Baby, Heather told it all. Heather said, look, Meredith don't really mess with you no more. Whitney, she knew more than we thought she knew. Lisa was calling all the attorneys. And yes, we read all the articles. And there's that. Moving forward. So Jen is like, I'm not here to prove anything to them, but I want an I'm sorry when I'm proven innocent. Okay, girl, I really don't have time for this, child. Let's just continue. Moving forward. In the next scene, Whitney and Justin, they're talking about their day, and she starts talking about her business, right? So her daughter was like, well, when can I help you again? So Whitney was like, she thinks this is like a hobby. Like when you try to help, like you think it's like a hobby, like kind of like a game. He said, it's not a hobby. She said, no, it's not a hobby. Justin, do you believe in me? Child, this is a mess. He said, yeah, of course. Lies, honey. The lies. Shout out to Candy Bird season 9. Baby, this is a fool. He said, we took half of our savings and I'm wondering how we're going to get that back. Whitney, that was a terrible business move. Terrible. What if this fails? Like, I want you to be successful, but like, girl, what are you thinking? So then she's like, it has to be a success because I spent the family's entire savings, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay, who's the brains of this operation? Because this is crazy. So he asked Whitney if she knew how much they were in for as far as investing is concerned. She's like, no, I have no idea. So then he asked her how much they would need to actually invest to rebrand. She said, well, I applied for $1 million line of business credit. And if I get approved, then nothing. But if I don't, then another $250 and then you'll have to co-sign. What in the ghetto hell is happening? Not you just applying for PPP loans on the slick and need co-signers and whatnot. Oh, child, this is a mess, honey. Oh, child, everybody out here doing some crooked stuff. Whitney Rose, you may be back on them poles soon, honey, that you and Lisa was swinging around if you don't get to making some money. Girl, this don't make no sense. So she's like, well, I didn't run it by Justin and he's really mad, as he should be. So then he's like, look, you didn't run this by me, and with our age difference, I might get on out of here before you. And I want to make sure I leave money for my kids and money for you. If something were to happen to me right now, we'd be in trouble. Whitney, you are being completely irresponsible, honey. Like, you have kids. You need to think before you act. She's like, I know, I'm terrible with money. Girl, this better be for a storyline, because otherwise it's nuts. Moving forward. In the next scene, Mary is upstairs doing nothing. Child, when Alexia rings the doorbell. So she's an organizer, right? And she came to organize all things Mary Cosby. So she brings her up and it's stuff everywhere. It was really a huge episode of Hoarders. I was like, Mary, this place is disgusting. Like, this is organized chaos. So then they do a walkthrough and Mary's master bedroom is as scatterbrained as she is. And she's living in complete clutter. This is like a fancy episode of Hoarders, Shah. So the girl was talking about, if you haven't worn this stuff and you probably can't see it, then you probably haven't worn it. She's like, the girls are talking about me having stuff, but the stuff that I have is not because I take people's money. That's not friendship. I really feel hurt by that. Well, Mary, honey, the streets are talking and the YouTube streets are saying that there is an audio of you talking about how cheap your congregation is if they don't give said amount. So, honey, I don't know. I'm just telling you what the streets are saying. So she reveals that she hasn't spoken to her mom in 20 years, so there's no attachment there. So she bonded with the things in her closet. See, this is what we need to know as far as a storyline is concerned. Why haven't you spoken to your mom in 20 years? That's not normal. Like, what is that all about? Is it because of the granddaddy husband? Like, why haven't you spoken to your mom? These are the things that we need to know. She's like, my philosophy is the more things that I have, the bigger my heart is. Mary, that is the dumbest thing. That is the dumbest thing that I have ever heard. Oh, child. So then she looks at the girl and she goes, you know what? If you see something, take it. Child, Mary's closet in her bedroom looks like a fire sale. And while I was watching this, I was like, something is really wrong with Mary. Like, she has to be lonely. Her granddaddy husband don't seem to like her no more. Her son cannot be bothered when he's not high, okay? Her mom don't talk to her, and the ladies cannot be bothered. Like, her solo scenes are awful. They're awful. The only thing that she really films is her in that closet with those mannequins. Have y'all ever noticed that? And that was last season as well. She didn't go to the Vegas trip. She was basically exiled because she said that Jen's aunt smelled like hospital and she couldn't stand the smell. And I mean, she didn't even have anything to do with last season. Now this season, baby, the block is hot. The block is hot. Hot, hot. Baby, they are on to Mary, okay? And what I was sitting here thinking to myself is, how did we leave Jen alone and start the witch hunt for Mary? Like, right now, we need to focus on one criminal at a time. Like, let's not jump ship. Jen needs to be held accountable. Like, her feet need to be held to the fire. Moving forward. In the next scene, we catch up with Lisa and Meredith, and they're going to ride horses. So Lisa swears she's the equestrian to end all equestrians. She's like, yeah, I've been riding since I was 4. Okay, well, let's see how you do. Let's see how you do, Lisa. And I was thinking, oh, okay, so now you got time for Meredith after the hit the fan with Jen. Mm-hmm. Child, that horse didn't move. Meanwhile, Meredith was galloping right on past her. Baby, she kept calling the horse Blue. Well, honey, Blue was feeling blue that day because Blue did not move. I said, Lisa gonna get somewhere and not know how to do nothing. I'm like, oh, child. Every time they do an activity, Lisa can never accomplish it. Honey, it is hilarious. So they sit down for a minute and they start talking, right? So she tells Meredith about Jen contacting her. And Meredith, she be looking unbothered, child. So Meredith was like, did your view on Jen shift after that night in Vail? She was like, well, there were a lot of inconsistencies with Jen in the way that she treated me. Like, she's only friends when she needs someone, but in public places, she acts like she doesn't know me. Oh, baby, I've been there. Honey, I hate a one-sided friendship and people who act brand new in front of company. Honey, that is my pet peeve if I ever seen one. She said, I just feel manipulated. Well, Meredith tried to tell you, but aside from that, you've seen Jen in action. So, she treats all of you this way. I hope you didn't think she was going to treat you no different. Girl. So Lisa was upset that Whitney brought up Cameron. She's like, the thing that really bothered me about that night was Whitney. And then they show the flashback of Whitney letting it be known that Lisa was the one that brought Cameron to the forefront and accused her of inviting Cameron to the party so Meredith could meet him. She's like, that's 100% not true. She said, I brought him there because he was on the board of Utah foster care. Don't accuse me of things that I'm not doing, or I'll accuse you of things that you do if you do that. Oh, child. All these ladies crazy. Oh, this is a fool. Moving forward. Meredith said, well, I'm pissed because the person who was being accused wasn't allowed to speak her speech. Now, y'all know she didn't say speak her speech, but y'all know I like to zhuzh it up. She's like, nobody would be quiet. Here go, Lisa. No, it was all Heather and Whitney's fault. Lisa, you played a part as well. Even Jenny was piping up. All y'all was talking. Meredith said, I don't think it's a point fingers type thing, and assess faults. She said it's just a problematic dynamic that's in our group. Lisa was like, no, it's not me. Meredith said, no, it's all of us. Yes, it is. Well, what'd she say that for, baby? That pissed Lisa off. She's like, I need someone to have my back. She wanted Meredith to side with her on being against Whitney and Heather. Lisa, grow up, okay? You are not completely innocent in any of this. She's like, I'm upset. No, Meredith, no, I'm not going to take that. It's not me. It is Heather and Whitney. So Meredith is like, I had your back. I'm very offended. So don't go there. She's like, no, I will go there. So honey, they're going back and forth and back, and Meredith is not having it. Lisa is like, no, they made it about me. I wanted to hear about Mary, but they were like, oh, Lisa Barlow's in the room. She said they go to bed counting Lisa Barlows in their sleep instead of sheep. It's 1 Lisa Barlow, 2 Lisa Barlow. Child, well, somebody thinks highly of themselves. Baby, the women on this franchise love to use their names. Do you hear me? She's like, they're just as bad as Jen. Lisa, pump the brakes, okay? Them having something against you is not as bad as what Jen is being accused of. Girl, you're just saying any old thing. Moving forward. In the next scene, Jen and the star of the show, her daughter Carolyn, they're going to have a tasting of some Vietnamese cuisine. So she's like, in the Vietnamese culture, when we have a conflict, we sit down to dinner and we talk about it. So I want to introduce this to the ladies so maybe they can sit down and talk about it. Honey, I can just see Lisa leaving now to go to Wendy's right after to get her some French fries. French fries and a Diet Coke. So her daughter is tasting the food to give her stamp of approval. Meanwhile, Jen is at home preparing a feast. Nah, I'm just kidding, y'all. She showed up with some Popeyes, child. She done brought Coach Shah some chicken from Popeyes. Love that chicken from Popeyes. Child, she done brought him some Popeyes, honey. Me personally, I love me some Popeyes chicken, honey. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I am not sitting on antibodies. And yes, I said antibodies. I'm not sitting on antibodies screen and be on anyone's TV with a bucket of chicken, eating it and whatnot. I mean, it did look good though, but I'm just gonna have to not do that while we're filming. Child, maybe I'm gonna get some Popeyes. I was like, oh, that look good, honey. Then they put the little biscuits in a serving dish, real fancy like. I was like, put up your pinkies as you eat your coleslaw and whatnot. So they sit down to eat Jen's last meal before she goes into the big house, and Jen starts telling Sharif about how Lisa basically shunned her. Out of everybody, she says she expected more from Lisa. Honey, I don't know why. Lisa is as fake as they come. So she's like, I'm at my lowest point in my life. I'm innocent. Coach Shah said, yeah. Oh my goodness. Child, he ain't no Erica Jane, honey. Baby, Coach Shah said, look, I don't know about it. All I know is this chicken is good. Okay, it must be fresh out the grease. But what I will say is, yeah, honey, because you done told me this 5 or 6 times and I'm sleepy. Oh, child, he looks so worn down. Do you believe it, Coach Shah, or no, honey? Because you acting like you don't believe it. She's like, I didn't do any of these things. And when we got married, it was for better or for worse. And I knew nothing of this. Child, so she was trying to muster up a tear. Not a tear was shed again. Jen, I'm getting sick of seeing you go through these scenes trying to get these tear ducts together. Like, this don't make no sense. At least Erica Jane let us see the tears fall with that non-waterproof mascara. You need to go over there and talk to her. Girl, and let her tell you how to make a scene. Girl, this is crazy. Jen, I'm not buying that you knew nothing. Okay? Sorry, not sorry. You absolutely knew something. You and your assistant / friend / he has his own business, Stu Chains, y'all knew exactly what y'all were doing. And the money was racking in, allegedly. And y'all were continuing to do this over and over and over and over because it was making money. You were funneling in this money knowing that you were getting it the wrong way. Honey, and that's that on that. Moving forward. He's like, look, I believe you. Do you? So then he starts talking about how his family, because baby, she had pissed him off when she started talking about his family, baby. She started talking about how his family is MIA, and even though they've helped them for years, she said, I need to know that people believe in me. I need to know that people have my back. Coach Shah tells her, look, I understand your pain. You have a new phone. Like, the people are trying. Like, my family, my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, my cousins, me, we love you. I will not falter, and I will not leave you. Okay, we'll see. End scene. Child, we'll see if you don't leave a child. Depends on how many years she gets. Moving forward. She's like, I don't understand why this is happening. You don't? I don't see why not. You commit a crime, you usually are caught. Honey, it may take years, but eventually what's done in the dark will come to the light. Moving forward. It's the day of Whitney's photo shoot. Bum, 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 bum. It's a photo shoot. And she's having the brand ambassadors be the models. So Heather and Jen show up to show their support. And she's like, I have to make sure that this rebrand is successful. I spent a lot of money on this shoot. So the producers were like, well, how much money did you spend? She said, I spent 20 grand. Girl, you just throwing money away. Ain't nothing in here look like it should cost $20,000. You need a money manager. Like, I'm not understanding why these white outfits and these flowers cost $20,000. Y'all could have had it in one of their houses in the backyard for a little bit of nothing. Child, this is a fool. So Jen said, I'm watching them take these photos with the flowers and the dog, but I don't see any product. And these things don't equal $20,000, Jenny, either. She said, I don't know who organized this, but they need to be fired. Now, I know a lot of people don't like Jenny, but I actually like her spunk this episode because, honey, she don't pipe down and she does not back down from anything. She is going to say exactly what is on her mind, and we need more of that. Moving forward. So they sit down to talk, and then Jenny tells them about the dinner that she's planning. So Heather tells them about the lunch with her and Jen and how she felt betrayed and how it's so unfair how things are going. So then Jenny 2.0, she said, do you believe her? No, she don't believe her, child, but she is the renter to her Erica Jane, so there's that. She said, I hope and pray she's innocent for her and her family because I wouldn't wish this on anyone. That's not what she asked you. She asked you, Do you believe her? Check yes or no, Heather. That is what she asked you. So Whitney was like, I've been struggling with my relationships too, especially with Lisa and Mary. And, I just feel like Lisa is dropping hints for us to pick up. So I got Cameron's number from Angie and I called him myself and I talked to him for 3 hours. Honey, at this point, Cameron is the other housewife. Because, child, if I hear Cameron's name one more time, oh, child, somebody please give him one of those snowflakes or whatever it is they hold in the opening credits. She was like, if it's true, then Mary is bigger and badder than what we know. If Lisa knows even a tenth or a third of that. So Heather asked if she was going to tell him. She was like, are you going to talk to Lisa about it? Or are you just going to go straight to Mary and ask her about it? So Whitney said, I'm going straight to Lisa. Jenny was like, yes, I agree with that. I feel like you should go straight to Lisa about it. This is my thing. The fact that Whitney decided to go and get all this information to try to figure out if what Mary is doing is wrong. Who's to say what Cameron is saying is the truth? Now, I don't know either way, but I'm just saying, wouldn't that still be considered hearsay? Like, okay, Cameron told you this, so that makes it the truth? Like, I'm just not understanding it. I guess, honey, everybody gonna get together and take down everybody, honey. That's how it's going. So Whitney was like, I need all of you to be there to help me when I talk to Mary. So Jenny said, why are you scared of her? I know that's right, Jenny, honey. But Mary is scary, honey. I ain't gonna lie to you, child. She is scary. She said, no, because Mary picks me apart. Whitney said, Mary is used to her congregation following her. Jenny said, but we're not in her congregation. Honey, I know that's right. Listen, I like Jen, honey. She ain't never scared. Shout out to Bone Crusher. She said, look, I don't know exactly why we're supposed to be so up in arms. I'm not a part of her congregation. Like, that's not going to scare me. So Whitney's like, we all act like we are, though. No, you act like you are. She said, if I'm going to walk away from a friendship, then I need to know the facts. And that was the end of the episode. Oh, child, these ladies going through so much, honey. We got Jen over here trying to prove that she's innocent, not a tear falling. We have Jenny trying to navigate her way through her first season, honey, in the middle of the mess. We got Meredith and Lisa soon to fall out because I can see the cracks all up and through this relationship. Lisa, okay, you mentioned Heather and Whitney literally in every single episode. So if they're obsessed with you, then you're obsessed with them. Get yourself a Diet Coke and pipe down. Child, y'all comment down below and tell me exactly what you thought about this episode. Let me know what you feel about Lisa and against Whitney and Heather. Let me know what you think about Mary against everybody except Meredith. Meredith against Jen. Jen against everybody except Heather. And Whitney and Heather sticking together watching the mess unfold. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.